All right, Dirty Sports episode 832 live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from somewhere in the mountains, hills of the Southern California area, Joey No Chill Prano.
Coming to you from a fortified compound in an undisclosed location in the greater Los Angeles area. How are you, Andy?
I'm good. So the new digs?
We'll see if it's full time, if it's temporary, what's going on. I don't know. We're just trying some things out here.
So you're in the beta stage. That's what they would call it.
Exactly. I'm beta testing.
You're beta testing where to live.
Yeah. Been moving around a lot of different places, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how the Wi-Fi connection is here. We'll see, Joe Prano, nomad.
Well, I'm going to be joining you in the beta testing because I have a finite time, I should say, in this house now. My brother has purchased this house.
Which one of your brothers will be?
Greg will take over the house.
Greg's moving in the house.
He's moving in.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to keep it in the family. So I will be.
Uncle Andy doesn't just get to live in the basement.
We discussed that. Kind of like Charles in Charge, throwback to our early 90s sitcom references. But Uncle Andy now has a lady and they're looking for some spots together.
Whoa! That's so exciting. I turned into Maddie Goldberg in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, look at me.
Look at you. Going all in, baby. Somebody said my Maddie Goldberger's turned into Dick Vitale, and I think when Maddie Goldberg gets excited, he is like a Dick Vitale.
No, I can see that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Maddie Goldberg and Dick Vitale calling a basketball game together?
It'd just be a lot of yes.
I know, man. Age 40, and I'm finally ready to take that step of living with a significant other. I guess little Andy over here is going to grow up finally.
Andy, Lady X, Roscoe.
Yeah, I know. So nothing is happening right this moment. We already spend all the time together, but as far as where I'm moving, but yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But some things are currently in motion from my end, from your end. So we'll see what happens.
Have you thought about just living in one of the luxury suites at Great American Ballpark? I assume they'll be pretty free.
It's a good
point. The rest of the season.
It's a great point.
Usually those things are expensive, but I think it's going to get to it's like hotel rooms in LA during COVID. They're like, well, listen, no one's using them. So why don't we just put the homeless in there?
Yeah. Well, the Reds, I mean, we can't get enough. Like at times I think, the DirtBalls are probably sick of hearing about the Reds, but the Reds have become a national thing now. Which
they're doing things that have been done, half a dozen times in the history of baseball at this point, and in losses.
Yeah, so they threw a no-hitter yesterday, a combined no-hitter, and still lost.
And for some reason, people they're not referring to it as a no-hitter. They're like, despite giving up no hits, like this is a no-hitter. They threw a no-hitter, and like even if one person did it and lost, it would still be a no-hitter. Now I know, one of my man crushes, Noah Syndergaard, has been trolling his former team because the Angels threw a real no-hitter, according to him. But listen, they're all no-hitters. The Reds threw a no-hitter and lost.
Correct. I believe it's because they pitched 8 innings and they lost. The Pirates didn't have to bat.
Interesting. Okay.
I believe that's what I read. They didn't have to.
That makes sense. That explains it a little bit more.
Yeah, they did not have to pitch the 9th inning.
I still say it's a no-hitter.
Well, they didn't give up a hit in 8 innings.
Yeah, and if one guy had done it and lost, he would have also thrown in a no-hitter.
Yeah, so for anyone who didn't see, they gave up 3 walks in the 8th, and then a failed double play, got a run across. So they lost 1-0. In what is the ultimate microcosm of the season of the Castellini family, you have to laugh. Like, I'm not a big karma guy. I don't think you are, but man, this season in team, this is like the ultimate karma. You throw a no-hitter and you lose.
Yeah.
And it's your young stud who throws 7 of the innings, 7 1/3 of the innings.
This is dirty sports in a nutshell. I believe there were 7 game 7s yesterday or some shit, or 7 game 7s this weekend. And we're like, let's talk some Reds baseball, baby.
Hey, you let it off.
I know. I did.
You jumped in it. That's all I'm going to say. Again, it's a microcosm of what's happening, and good. I'm glad they lost again.
Good. Fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to cross over to dirty slides too hard, but fuck them.
I mean, I've said what I can say. There's nothing really else to say.
I will tell you one thing. And I really shouldn't even be saying this, but I'm not going to give any of the details. And I don't even know that the Castellinis are like whatever. But I know some people who have some dough. You know, I'm from a place. I grew up. I went to high school where a lot of people have some money, and now a lot of those people know people with even more money. I, meanwhile, have moved in to a temporary closet with barely any Wi-Fi. So good job by my parents spending all that money on multiple private school educations. Good job, Mom. Sorry about that. But a rumor that I heard is a friend of a friend.
Ooh, I like it.
A friend of a friend is thinking about looking into gathering information on how to buy the Cincinnati Reds. The reason being, despite the small marketness, despite the, whatever, it's one of only 2 professional teams in Cincinnati. It is the first professional baseball team, the only team with an opening day parade, the team that, for a while always threw out the first pitch of the season, that there is a history and that there is a need for the Cincinnati Reds to be a good baseball team, to stay in Cincinnati and to not just be Giant. So I won't give any more details because I actually don't know too many details. But what the reasoning I heard was Cincinnati deserves a baseball team, and it deserves its baseball team to be treated better than it's being treated by its owners.
Does this person own a St. Bernard?
No.
Okay. Didn't know if we were going to have Shotzi the 4th or Shotzi the 5th, whatever it was, coming back.
Was Shotzi a St. Bernard?
Wasn't Shotzi a St. Bernard?
I thought Shotzi was like a little foo-foo dog. I thought it was like a Shih Tzu or something.
No. Shotzi was a big dog. Now you got me questioning. I had my questioning my whole time growing up. Shotzi, come on. Was Marge Schott's dog? Dude, you got me questioning everything. Was it not a St. Bernard? Yep, it was a St. Bernard.
Okay.
You think a woman who has an affection for Hitler is going to have a little foo-foo dog, man?
I don't know.
Yeah, Shotzi was a St. Bernard, and she had multiple Shotzis. I think after one died, I think there was like Shotzi 2.
Yeah, she seemed like the kind of person that would do that. There's people that do that. It might be the most serial killer thing that you can do besides being an actual serial killer is replacing your dog with the same breed and calling it the same thing. Like I know people who are like, yep, this is the 5th Rex we've had. We just a black lab dies. We get another black lab. We call it Rex. I'm like, that is psychotic.
Yeah, no, it is. It's totally psychotic. You can't do that.
I think that's like, Mindhunter or whatever. That should be in this FBI's serial killer profile.
100%.
If you replace your dog with the exact same dog and give it the same name,
you can't do that.
You can't do that, sir. Sir, did you just name your dog the same thing as your last dog? Yeah. Did you buy the exact same breed? Yeah. All right. We're going to have to take an axe to your floor and find out how many bodies you have under there.
Yeah. The dog name is crazier than George Foreman naming all his kids George.
Yeah. Cause that's like a wild, fun thing.
Yeah.
I just saw a thing about Wander Franco too. The Tampa Bay Rays shortstop, that apparently his brothers are also both Wander Franco, and now he has a son, Wander Franco Jr. So
amazing.
Yeah. The only thing that you're allowed to name your dog if you replace it with a new one, if you're going to do that, it either has to be George Foreman or Wander Franco. Then it's okay. Then it's a sports reference. You're like, our family dog George Foreman died, and we're replacing it with George Foreman. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. We have a lot of basketball to talk. And then we have some serious drama from my Airbnb stay. That is the most dirty sports story ever.
Somebody knocked on the door one night. They were bloody. You didn't let them in. By the way, the amount of messages I got that were like, why does Andy think he lives in a horror movie? People are like, Andy driving by a person in distress because he's worried that they're part of, I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's one of the wildest takes I've ever heard.
So my mind, if people haven't figured out, my mind goes places.
Yeah, I think we all got that.
Like I don't need any sort of drug. My mind, now not it'll go even. My mind goes place. My mind went a place this weekend that when I got in my car late, this is at where I live in the nice little suburbs of Cincinnati. For some reason, I thought the hitman from Ozarks was going to have a gun to my head. Like my mind goes places. I'm like, is Nelson there ready to kill me?
Nelson, is that his name?
That's his name. So I know, weird name for a guy who is sent to off people, but my mind goes places.
Are you done with Ozark, by the way?
I finished it this weekend.
I have 2 left. It is pulling teeth getting me through the end of this series. I can't believe I lasted this long, but man, I've been watching. You're
in the minority in that, I think.
I've been watching these episodes and like 3. I'm at this point, just who am I rooting for? I honestly tweeted it. I think I'm just the only person I'm rooting for in the whole. There's 2 people on the whole show that I would be like upset if they died. 2 people, and that's the daughter and fucking the cartel leader. That's it. The head of the cartel is the most likable guy on the whole show.
I'll be curious what you say after you finish it.
If it doesn't end up with Wendy Bird dead, I may cancel my Netflix account.
Wendy Bird really is setting women back.
The worst.
She's the worst.
And I called that so long ago, and everybody was like, well, I don't know. You egregiously hate Wendy Bird. And now she's turned into I was like, see, I told you.
And Marty's a cuck. Marty's a total. I mean, we know he's a cuck, but he's literally
the show starts with, hi, welcome to this new streaming show. Marty's a cuck. That's how the show started.
For sure. But I'm saying he's a cuck in so many ways.
Yeah.
Speaking of cucks, can we talk about the Phoenix Suns?
Sure.
They got cucked hard by Luka.
I mean, can we talk about something that might even be a bigger deal than the Andy Ruther curse? The Stephen A. Smith curse. I mean, Stephen A. Smith predicted that the Mavs would get blown out. Like, why? Who even makes that kind of prediction going into a game 7? That one of the in a game 7 of the second round of the NBA playoffs. You predict a team is going to get blown out.
Yeah, that's a bad take. If
And
it's
then the
real.
other team gets blown out.
That game was over from the start.
Yeah. Dude, I saw, listen, this NBA playoffs, I'll say it again. I have no idea what's happening. After those first two games, I was like, well, I had high up. I mean, I thought the Mavericks were going to perform well in this playoffs. And then they come out in those first two games. I was like, well, I was wrong. I literally took an L. And now I'm taking an L that I took an L. This is like the Julius Randle signing all over again. Now I'm taking an L that I took an L.
I don't understand how you can get blown out that badly at home. What, 26 points at halftime? 27 points?
I mean, Devin Booker just no shows.
No shows.
Chris Paul has no showed for 5 games now. We talk about the Chris Paul. Like, what's the Chris Paul legacy at this point? Because I saw somebody, I have a friend of mine whose basketball opinion I respect, who like 2 games into the series was like, best point guard of my lifetime. I was like, whoa, because he's up 2 games in the second round?
Zero finals appearances.
Some epic, like, conference finals fails.
I'm sorry. He made the finals last year. Bad memory.
Right. Last year with the Suns. Prior to that, yeah, 0 epic conference finals fails between injury and no showing and whatever.
That's a good question, though. The best point guard in our lifetime. I'm not. I'm not going to include Magic because Magic was like before. I mean, he's in my lifetime, but he was before I really watched.
Best post Jordan. Like Magic, Larry were an era, right? That was an end of an era. The if you look at the history of basketball, you have the beginning. You have the Bill Russell run. And that also included, obviously, games. You have Wilt and all that, and you have great players there. But the Bill Russell finals, Celtics run. Then you have the color TV era. Then you have Magic and Bird. Then you have Jordan, and then you essentially have the LeBron era. And now we're cusping on the post LeBron era.
Yeah, but who's in that list? Stockton, Nash.
Yes, I would say
Allen
Stockton. I would say Stockton's a Jordan era point guard.
True.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I mean Nash, Kidd, Chris Paul. Then you get into like the Steph Curry, Allen Iverson, like guys who are, are they true point guards? I guess, if we're doing it by position. I mean, Steph Curry, multiple MVPs and titles, but doesn't bring the ball up.
I mean, 64 wins and you don't make it to the conference finals. Those can be franchise defining moments that change the trajectory. I think.
Well, I said last year, and I feel like I took an L even maybe with the regular season performance, because I said last year that I thought the Suns would fall off. Obviously, they had a better regular season, but they don't go back to the finals. They don't even go to the conference finals. But I said last year, and I kind of now feel justified in saying this, they shouldn't have re-signed Chris Paul. You have Chris Paul, you have a veteran point guard. He takes you to the finals. He gets all these young guys there. He gets all these young guys experience. And then you give him a boatload of money. And it's like, he kind of accomplished all that he could accomplish. Like, unless you thought you were winning the championship, which I didn't think they were going to do. I didn't even think that they would get back there. I actually thought they would have a worse regular season than they did. But I feel like that is a fail. Now, the part of the reason for me saying that is like, I feel like you have to pay Ayton, but now they don't even play Ayton in the fourth quarter. And there's some sort of, this is, an internal, we're going to keep why he didn't play between the team, a statement from the coach. So I don't know. I mean, pretty safe to say this is the end of the Phoenix Suns mini run, finals appearance and best record in the league the year after.
And conversely, could be the start of a Mavs run.
Could be.
At least the potential run of always being right there.
Well, because they have one of the, I would say 3 best players in the NBA.
Yeah. And I agreed with what Charles Barkley said last night after the game. And he said, it was a blessing in disguise not having Luka those first 2 games of the playoffs, because guys like Brunson and Dinwiddie, they had to learn how to play without him. And then they gained confidence in that Jazz series. And they took that confidence moving forward. Now, games they didn't show up, they lost, but overall they've played well. And now you have a team beaming with confidence. That's going to be a pretty tough out. That's going to be a hell of a series.
Yeah, it's pretty fun one. Well, wildly different styles. Multiple all-timers in the series. I mean, I'd even put Clay as like a all-timer in a sense, one of the all-time shooters. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Big Mavs fan over here. I mean, especially now, I got Golden State, the Heat, Boston. I'd like to see a Heat Mavs finals. We'll go a replay of a couple of past finals, but big Mavs fan over here. Let's go Mavs. Let's go Luka.
Yeah, man, he's so fucking good. He really is. God, he's good.
And shout out to Knicks fans who are out there watching, who are still arguing that the Knicks won the Porzingis trade as Luka and the Mavs head toward the finals.
I'm not like, he does it quietly though. That's what's pretty wild if you watch the games. He doesn't like, it's not the flashy jaw, of course. They're different players, as we know.
I mean, yeah, obviously there's like there's the just like freak athleticism that he's missing, but just the skill, it's
skill set. Yeah.
The skills, kind of unmatched. And that was what I said about Luka the last couple of years, which is like, he's already like around his ceiling, in my opinion. But what's great is like, he has the maturity of playing professional basketball from a very young age. And now he's just like hovering near his ceiling, but he could potentially, like LeBron, stay there for a really long time, because even maybe less so than LeBron, I feel like his skill set translates into like an aging game. I mean, he's obviously very, very young, but like, he's very young, but I think his game translates to something that he could do for the next 15 years. And even if he slows down, or even if he can't jump as high, or even if he's not as quick in a first step, it's just like, so like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's so like, I don't know. It's like a thoughtful, intricate, skillful style of play.
What's great about Luka, he does better in the playoffs career-wise.
I mean, average wise in terms of like all the things he does. I mean, it's a very small sample size so far, but he's having
23 games.
Yeah, but he's an all-time playoff performer through a very small sample size.
All time. 23 games playoffs. He's averaging 32.7 points, 9.3 rebounds, 8.3 assists, all while shooting, 48% from the field, a respectable 37% from 3-point. Like, his numbers are better in the playoffs than they are in the regular season. And that's what's so great. And he's 23.
Yeah.
He just turned 23 3 months ago. Not even 3 months ago.
It's wild.
If he makes it to the finals, his trajectory is pretty insane, like you're saying, or the possibility of his longevity at that top dog of the NBA. Which brings me to a call concerning the NBA playoffs and like a guy we trust the most. I'm going to play it. Who do we trust the most out there as far as star players?
Hey, Joe and Andy, it's Andrew from Columbus. I just watched the Suns completely sell in Game 7. They shot terrible, kind of like the Bucks did earlier. And that takes out Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Giannis, all in the same day. And so with the remaining 4 teams, which player in the playoffs do you trust the most to bring home the trophy? Because I think the Bucks, were favored coming out of the East. I'm not exactly sure about the lines on that. And I'm pretty sure Phoenix or Golden State was favored. I think the easy choice is to go with Steph, but I'm not sure that Luka or Jason Tatum aren't the guys to put the ball in the hands of at the end of the game. Condoms are for the Phoenix Suns. There we go.
As tends to happen with DirtBall calls, and this is not a dig on the caller at all, because I think it's a great call and a great question, but it seems like it might be 2 different questions. Who do you trust the most that's left? And bringing home the title is more than one guy.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important when you look especially at Golden State, who has a guy. Steph Curry is Golden State's guy. Steph Curry has 3 titles and no finals MVPs. So it's almost like if I trust the Warriors, if I have the most trust in the Warriors winning it all, does that mean I have the most trust in Steph? It's like, not necessarily. I mean, I think that we've seen Warriors teams win titles and win finals games where Steph no-shows a little bit. So of all the guys left, who do I trust? I mean, you just talked about it. Look at Luka's numbers playoffs wise. Like, I trust Luka's going to go for 25, 8, and 8 every single night. We're talking about 32, 10, and 9 or whatever it is his average. Like, I trust Luka the way I trusted LeBron for so many years is you're going to get 25, 8, and 8. Which, by the way, if you average 25, 8, and 8, which Luka's not, he's averaging more through your postseason career, you're in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah. It's not a question.
I trust Luka the most in terms of a single person.
Yeah, hands down.
But I think that's going to be a really difficult series because I think the Warriors have a ton of experience on their team.
And the Mavs have to shoot well, and the Warriors can match them shot for shot with the 3.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have their hands full. I'll be rooting for Dallas as well. They're going to have their hands full.
And it's similar in the East. It's like Jason Tatum's going to be the best player in that series.
Yeah.
But also, like, the Heat might be a better team.
I think they are. I think they're a better overall team from top to bottom.
But you got to, it's something you got to factor in. The Celtics have the best player in the series.
For sure. Is this Brad Stevens' first year not as the coach?
I believe that's correct.
That'd be pretty crazy if they go to the finals.
Am I crazy that?
No, I think you're right. I think.
Just got a message from Mr. Andy Lazarus who says, "Let me come on Dirty Sports this week to talk conference finals." So might need to invite him in on a Thursday.
So he can be a homer towards his Warriors.
Yeah.
So Stevens, yeah. I'm just saying it would make for an interesting storyline, is all I'm saying. If the first year they don't have Stevens, they suddenly make the finals. And I'm not putting that on him. Obviously, he still works for the organization.
Right.
I still like the Heat in that series.
I do too, but I got to say that the Celtics showed me something in the end of that series. I mean, I really thought the Bucks were coming out of that. Again, this is I've it's crazy. I've said it before, but like breaking even on this NBA playoffs so far, maybe down a little bit, feels like I'm just getting the shit kicked out of me. It's like I've never felt so bad about losing just a little bit of money. I just feel like I don't know what's happening from game to game. And then even some of my predictions have come true, and I abandoned them along the way. Like I was like, I think the Mavs could sneaky make a run. And then I sold my Mavs stock 2 games into a series. So it's going to be interesting. I kind of like a Heat Mavs finals. It's what I'm rooting for. I think these could both be like pretty epic series though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if each goes 7.
And you know what that means. Anything is possible.
Yeah. I wonder who the NBA wants.
The NBA's got to want.
They got to want Boston. I'd say Boston, Golden State.
You think so, or you think Boston, Luka? I feel like there's something about like people getting tired of certain teams. I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA was into Boston, Dallas. Dallas is a huge market as well.
True.
They're probably all in on Boston Mavs. So that's probably what it'll be.
I just wonder.
NBA is rigged.
I still wonder what the NBA feels about the foreign players concerning marketing.
They love them. They bone her out for them. It's the greatest thing to ever happen to them.
But do Americans?
They don't give a shit.
No, I know, but I just, my point is like, if Luka take Luka for example. I think if he, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in this. I was gonna say if he's an American, I feel like.
I mean, it's harder for them to market them here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, that's the beauty of the NBA. That's why the NBA is so great, is it is such a global game. I mean, you can shit on the NBA all day long if you're one of those idiot talking heads and you're like, oh, how's China's dick taste? It's like, it tastes like fucking, we're printing money. It jizzes money into our mouths. That's how it tastes. They are thoughtful about being the world's game and cultivating. I mean, that was the dream team plan. Let's send the dream team to Barcelona.
Well, everything certainly changed historically after that. But my point on Luka and even Giannis, it's the same way. He's obviously a huge star, but again, not American. I do think it matters marketing wise. It doesn't mean these guys aren't liked or they're not popular.
It just means that here, I'm sure the NBA Europe offices do a lot of work pushing Luka. I'm sure, and a lot of work pushing Jokic and Giannis. And I'm sure dude, Yao Ming was the starting NBA all-star center for a bunch of years.
Well,
Dude,
that's also because it was fan voting, and China has
right. That's what I'm saying. That's
how
my
many
point.
people,
Yeah.
Yeah, if Dallas gets in, it's a much better storyline. And you get the whole Cuban factor. I think people like that.
I would have to imagine that would be what the NBA is rooting for, but they're probably just happy for Boston and whoever, because they certainly have star power and Steph. Steph is one of their golden boys. I'm sure they'll survive. They probably don't want anything to do with like a Miami Heat team that has like a pretty wishy-washy fan base that doesn't have a superstar.
Yeah, they just got the Jimmy Butler, Hootie and the Blowfish commercials.
Yeah. Which Jimmy Butler is a star, but like they just don't market him that way. He's bounced around. He's not the face of the Heat.
I bet if they make the finals, Jamie Foxx has to show up and be in first row for one of those games. He has to, right?
And then he can do an impression of Dave Chappelle doing an impression of Prince. And every time the Heat win, he's like, game, blouses.
Or he does an impression of Jimmy Butler while Jimmy Butler's playing.
Yeah.
Right? That's where I was going with that.
I know where you're going with that.
Okay.
We're layering it.
I gotcha. He's doing more shows out here, Chappelle.
Jimmy Butler is already doing a Jamie Foxx impression as Buns. We've already established that.
Again, low-key, great movie, Booty Call, if you haven't seen it. Great character. Might argue Jamie Foxx's best acting of his entire career. The character Buns, B-U-N-Z.
Not the thing you got a Oscar for.
No, not playing Ray Charles.
No.
Buns. And him having sex with Vivica Fox while doing different impersonations in the movie. I mean, there's that scene where he starts acting like Bill Cosby while he's banging her.
Yeah.
Classic movie. Speaking of that, I got to get back to Michael Majid. Where you at on those nacho helmet calls, my friend? Right?
Yeah.
Nacho helmet movie reviews?
Yeah. He's got a lot. We gave him a lot to work on.
We gave him a lot. It was like you do a project for school for the semester. We gave him a semester project.
Yeah.
But seriously, quit everything you're doing and get on it. I know we're not paying you, but come on, man. I discovered some interesting things with my Airbnb review.
With your Airbnb review?
Well, let me take it back a step. Before that, I discovered some things, which I'm actually very curious to hear you and what the dirtballs think of this. So I booked that place in Tennessee. And it's this long copy and paste list of rules. And I disregarded it and I did some digging before I stayed there. The host, let's put in quotes, has 9 other properties listed. So I just thought, okay, you're a host management company. It's obvious in the greater Tennessee area. You have 9 properties. You don't own 9 properties. The person's photo was a very stock looking photo. Right?
Okay. I don't know where you're going with this.
Oh, you'll see. So we get to the property in Tennessee and I ask a simple question when we get there, and he responds, this person named Derek responds normally how to get the propane for the gas. And then I start realizing the responses are instant. They're instant and they're basically automated. And there's certain times where the response, where it's an unsolicited response. And every response to me says, "Hi, Andy," and "kindly Derek" at the end. So I'm showing this to my buddies last week. I go, this is some fucking bot shit.
Right.
Which I don't know about your experience, Joe. When I've stayed in Airbnb, I've actually always had a person.
Okay.
And it's obvious.
Yeah.
Because the person doesn't respond instantly. So again, the first night we have 4 exchanges. Then at exactly 10 a.m. the second day, hi, Andy. I hope that you're enjoying Chattanooga. Please let me know if there's anything you need or if I can help you in any way. Kindly, Derek. And I'm thinking, dude, you already knew I'm there and enjoying. Like, we've already exchanged messages. That was an automated bot thing. And every response, again, is hi, Andy, kindly, Derek. And as this continues to happen, we're laughing with my buddies saying some of these might be a person, some of these are automated. And the last message he sends me the night before, it says, hi, Andy. I hope you've had a delightful stay so far. Kindly remember to check out blah, blah, blah. It's been such an honor to have you as our guest. I'll definitely be giving you a 5-star ratings in every category. And then the next day, I get a thank you. I've already written you a beautiful 5-star review. Blah, blah, blah. I do some homework. So get this. This is wild. This is a property company managed by this guy, in air quotes, Derek. I go to the website of his LLC listed. It's like a bullshit website for a company called Bellanova. The website is beautifulandnew.com. On the top of the website, it says new free webinar shows how our clients make $226,000 without lifting a finger. And it's a video of women being like, Bellanova helped our property so much, blah, blah, blah. And it's from the quote unquote owner. And he's listing all these numbers and all these reviews. There's not a single contact on here. There's just screenshots of reviews. There's nothing to click on. There's not a single contact, email, information.
I'm going to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Isn't this better?
No. Well, here's why it's not. I do a further dive on the way back, driving back, because I'm like obsessed with this now on the way back.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. So you don't have somebody that's like monitoring your every move and like.
But here's why.
You're getting immediate responses.
Here's why.
Robot Derek seems lovely.
Yeah, here's why. Our place was way dirtier than expected.
Okay.
All the way, it was misleading in the photos. This is exactly why. Misleading in the photos. Our electricity went out for 3 hours.
Okay.
The bush and shrubs and everything going down from our house down to the dock was unkept. I didn't realize till the very end, every single garbage can outside was full. So all these things are adding up. We book things on reviews, right?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Sure. I mean, that's the whole model of Airbnb. You review them, they review you.
Yes. I discovered on the way back, half, if not more of the reviews are fake. They're bots. That's what we're getting to this. You're saying, oh, it didn't buy. Like, they're fake. I booked that based on reviews. They're fucking fake. Like, he has an Asian guy named Ming. I mean, it's almost stereotypical, with a stock photo of a guy who looks like he works undercover for the Chinese Communist Party, leaving. Like, I'm piecing all this together. And if you go to his website, they admit it on the website. This is where it's crazy to me.
I know. I'm starting to think they're not hiding it, but you're like, you've discovered something. They're like, yes, you've been dealing with a bot this whole time. We have 9 properties, all owned by China, and we have a bot that runs all of them. And you're like, I got you. And they're like, no, it says on our website.
It says, we reverse engineered the science behind the world's most successful vacation rentals. Then we refined our formula while hosting 1,000 plus stays at Airbnb. And then it says literally on their website, combine this with artificial intelligence to boost our performance, and you can see where our clients trust us around the clock. Bro, you ain't a real person. You might be a real person. You're lying. You lie. I don't like being lied to, Joe. This is what this boils down to. You fucking lied to me. You had fake bot reviews, which got me to book this place. It was not nearly as clean as you. And by the way, I'm not like I'm not a guy who's so picky. I give people 5 stars. So I give a review and I give it 2 stars in my review. Okay. So I give the review 2
This
stars.
is a bad idea, Andy. Skylink's about to show up to your house. They're going to be like, please exit your domicile. We will be thrashing you.
You're probably
Prepare
right.
to be thrashed. I am Derek.
So
I said thank you kindly, and you left me a poor review. Arm yourself, Andy.
Here's Derek's review of me. Again, automated. Andy was an incredible guest. Very kind, polite, and considerate with the house. Andy also left it clean and tidy. Honestly, one of the best guests I've had. Highly recommend. So that's his review with me less than 24 hours after the stay. No real person talks like that.
Yeah.
Agreed? So here's my review of Derek.
What is real, Andy?
Here's my review I write last night. This place was just okay. It definitely needs to be cleaned up better, both inside and outside. The weeds, bushes, brush on the steps down to the dock are unacceptable. The 4 outside trash cans haven't been taken out in probably weeks or months. It was fine for myself and 2 friends, but we all agreed we'd never stay there with our families. The property is run by a management company. This company uses automated bot messages under the guise of someone called Derek. The whole thing is sketchy, and it's also clear they're using bot accounts for fake reviews.
You have fucked with the wrong robot, Andy. No longer kindly, Derek.
So I get this response from Derek less than 10 minutes last night after I leave the review. Andy, I've received over 1,000 reviews, and yours was by far the most rude and disrespectful of all. I am not a bot, something a bot would say, right? I am not a bot. I am a father, husband, and super host that treated you like royalty. I responded immediately to every message you sent. Again, of course you did. You're a bot. Not once did you mention any cleaning or trash issues, or I would have personally stopped by and fixed them. I imagine you've never seen a bot in real life. I gave you a 5-star review, and in return, you leave a highly deceptive review that is truly unethical. Please, now I'm getting threatened. Please remove your review. There's enough hurt and pain in the world without spreading more. Derek, what is happening, Joe Brano?
Yeah, Skylink is now attacking you. They're like, we will go back in time and kill your parents.
Well, too late for that. Too soon?
Prior to you being born is my point. Kindly, Derek.
You don't think this is all crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, I got a threat back of him telling me to remove my review. But here's what's crazier. I don't trust Airbnb at all. They're allowing this whole system of fake reviews. Now I don't know where I'm ever going to stay.
Here's what you should do. You should be like, Derek, I hear you. Please repeat what you just said in a video message to me, and I will update my review accordingly.
It's funny you say that.
Also, you need to be holding 2 forks in your left hand.
I was just going to say, I haven't responded to Derek. I almost went the A. Millie route and said that. If you send me a picture of yourself holding a spoon, I will remove the review.
No, you need a video message of him talking to you while holding a spoon.
I think this is a real person.
Yeah.
I don't think this person is named Derek Taylor. Very generic, bland name you would choose. Now, did I do my research in the Tennessee?
Some dirtball named Derek Taylor is like, what do you mean bland name, Andy Ruther? Like you're fucking, like you're some exotic.
I'm not. I'm like I'm the whitest name ever. But Joe, you have to admit this whole thing is bizarre.
Like he's getting called out by Francesco Capriani, no, Andy Ruther calling me out.
Don't you think this is kind of nuts?
The 5 Derek Taylors out there that are probably all related to Justin Wood somehow are like, how dare you?
Have you ever encountered a thing like this in Airbnb. All my Airbnbs have been people because
but also I would have just like, I don't know that I would have been like, oh, this place is run by a bot. I'm going to give it a review. And like, I don't know if I would have like tried to take down the bot Airbnb industry in one review.
Now there is a news article about this Derek Taylor.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. I got a little complex. I got my lady working on it as well. And she sent me something, which is pretty wild, about the Chattanooga City Council denies short-term vacation rental permits on Jefferson, which is a street. They denied vacation rentals. Derek Taylor with Bellanova said his client purchased a home with intent of turning into an Airbnb, and they felt they addressed the community and council's concerns regarding noise and parties. And he's quoted in this.
So Derek Taylor is probably a real person. And then they use a bot to respond for him. He's probably the local man on the scene that works for the company. And it's some guy.
Who's the company? Dude, Bellanova, he's listed as the Bellanova LLC CEO. He doesn't own 9 properties. These are nice houses.
No, he's just probably, they just probably named their local man on the ground as the CEO so that he can go talk on their behalf at little, local meetings and shit.
Am I spending too much time on this?
Way too much. I can't believe how much time on the show we spent on it.
Doesn't it?
Is it 7 game 7s in sports yesterday? And you're like, my Airbnb was run by a bot. I've gone down this wormhole to try to figure out why or how. I'll tell you why and how. Because they're making money hand over fist by just like some Chinese company owns property all over probably the country.
I know, but they're lying with these reviews. I wouldn't have booked it if I knew half the reviews were bullshit. I got caught out by a bot. Like a bot is coming at me.
Well, that was probably a real guy.
I know. That's the best part. I mean, you have to just think that's the funniest thing. Please remove your review. There's enough hurt and pain in this world without spreading more.
I can tell you one thing. I know it's not that close. I know it's closer to other ballparks, but Derek is definitely a Washington Nationals fan.
Exactly. Bots.
They're all robots.
Yeah.
They don't exist.
I don't know how I go forward though, Joe. That's my main point with Airbnb. It's tough. I'm going to now have to scrutinize every review. Because they're allowing this. Everybody keeps saying, dude, you got to go to Airbnb and let them. They're facilitating this. It's like Twitter just allowing bots. They're facilitating this. They're part of the problem.
I can't believe robot Derek Taylor is in an online flame war with what things white people like. Bot off.
Unbelievable, Joe. But I appreciate the $50 refund for when the electricity went out, Derek. I appreciate that.
Derek, I want you to know, Derek, I've started a new account called Things White People Don't Like. And our first tweet is being lied to by Airbnb.
Yeah. Well, I'm still going to do some more digging. I want to find out exactly who this is. I want to speak with somebody on the phone. You know who this would be great for? Your brother.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think your brother would eat this stuff up?
Yeah, he'd eat it up because he is Bellanova. He'd be like, oh, you almost found me. You almost got me, Andy.
I mean, Bellanova, their website is beautifulandnew.com. Literally has nothing to do with the word Bellanova. Dude, can I just play? Let me just play this. I have to play this real quick. This is the women on the website. It's so funny.
I used Bellanova for the entire last year of my rental, and it was the best rental year ever. More money coming in than any year prior to that. We had nothing but 5-star ratings, and the place looked beautiful.
We have been extremely happy with Derek and all the services that he's provided us.
We recently switched.
So it's like old white women on camera. None of their names are listed, and they show pictures of what they did.
They're all Karen. That's
Dude,
why.
that's great. They're all Karens. They are. That's spot on. They all look like Karens. And the pictures they show, the before.
That's
and after,
right, because in computers there's only zeros and ones. Derek's and Karens. Derek's and Karens.
But the pictures they show before and after what they do to properties is literally like changing the carpet. So what'd you do on your Airbnb trip? I don't know. I spent half the trip investigating where I was staying. All right, let's move on from all this bullshit.
You're like, I also found out this was not a hotel at all. This was somebody's home.
It's unbelievable.
Andy, did you watch any hockey yesterday?
No, but we got a call about it.
Nice.
You want me to play
I watched the little Rangers Penguins.
You want me to play the call?
Let's do it.
I like this call too.
It's great.
Hey guys, Ryan Clack calling in from Saskatoon. Now, there was a little bit of chatter about hockey and a Dirty Sports hockey correspondent on the last podcast. And I'm going to throw my name in the hat just like I did in 2015. Ruther, you know I'm your guy. I've been listening to the podcast for a very long time. I'm a huge hockey fan. I'm an NHL stat dork. I can confidently say I know more about hockey than Alexis and Jacob Bruder and even a very, very drunken Federals wine bar, Jacob Face. And above all else, I just fucking love the Dirty Sports podcast. You guys may not be tattooed on my ass, but you're tattooed on my heart, and it would be an honor. Not, I mean, that's fine. I've long accepted that this is not a hockey podcast, but as Gretzky once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Stay dirty.
Wow. Tattooed on his heart. Ryan, it's yours, man. Congrats.
Let's go.
It's been a
Ryan
long
Clapp,
time.
The official Dirty Sports hockey correspondent for the remainder of the 2022 NHL playoffs and possibly beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ryan was a bot,
He kind of sounds like one with his monotone voice, but I know he's not.
but they programmed him perfectly.
Yeah.
He's like, I am from Saskatoon. They programmed him with the perfect Canadian accent. Ryan, call back. I need to know. We're now headed toward the second round and so 2 epic game 7s yesterday, including my Rangers thwarting the Pittsburgh Penguins after being down 3-1. That's all I really know. My friends from home are all Rangers fans, and one of them texted last night, "That's how you butt fuck a penguin." And then I had the visual in my head of somebody butt fucking a penguin. Which,
That's aggressive. That's
you know.
really aggressive.
And I was like, honestly, penguins are pretty passive and pretty small. I feel like it would be easier than going to a game 7 and going overtime to butt fuck a penguin if you actually tried.
Yeah.
But Ryan, what's going to happen from here on out? What are the storylines to look for in the coming series?
Yeah. Ryan's an OG dirtball. Like he said, he vied for the hockey correspondent in 2015. Hey, man, good things happen to those who wait. You can add it to your resume. Official 2022 Dirty Sports hockey correspondent. Give us an update because I'm not going to watch any, full disclosure. So I want to hear it from you firsthand. What's going on? Also, shots fired at some of the former correspondents. You know?
Yeah.
I always forget that Jake Bruder was a hockey correspondent. I wish we had those. I am so annoyed that Skype deletes these messages. Wouldn't you want to go in there and just hear some of these?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I would die. Or hear some of the drunken Jacob Faith ones. So Drew Brees will no longer be on NBC.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out, Drew Brees. You're boring. No one wanted you.
Well, that's what happened. I don't know if you remember. he got his test during the Bengals Raiders playoff game. And to recap, he misspoke a bunch.
I mean, I get it. It's like you're new, you know, it's a tough job and no one nails it right out of the gate. But like, is there anything interesting about Drew Brees?
No. And we said that going in.
Great player, but not interesting.
No, I agree.
I'd rather hear one of the Manning brothers, any of the Manning brothers. I'd rather listen to anybody with the last name Manning, you know, a great aunt or something, read the back of a cereal box than Drew Brees break down an NFL playoff game.
Yeah.
Just one of the you know, just the Manning's great aunt Susan. She's like, we got yellow 5 in here. We got looks like we got some high fructose corn syrup. You know, it's good stuff. We like it. This Captain Crunch is undefeated, like the Patriots were. When my great nephew Eli went in there and killed the dragon, slayed the dragon. Like, thanks, great Aunt Susan Manning.
You'd rather have someone who's interesting than a great player.
Yeah.
And like that's a prime example. He's a top 10 quarterback, but he's never been interesting.
No.
So I guess it'll be Tirico and my boy, Chris Collinsworth still until they figure out what they're going to do. It's a big shakeup this year. You got Herb Street, Al Michaels on Amazon. You got Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on ESPN now. The top crew, they don't know yet for Fox because Brady's still playing. It'll be Kevin Burkhardt and probably Greg Olson. And CBS remains Romo and Nance. Romo's getting all this competition now.
Yeah.
He was like the new kid on the block. He came out swinging. Now everybody's coming for him.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, I know you hate Romo.
I don't hate him. I think he's too big of a dork for me.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think if there's something that we can sort of point to Romo to is like him getting in there and doing it the way he did and sort of predicting plays and really like diving in depth. I mean, obviously Troy Aikman was a great quarterback back in the day, but he never went in depth on the quarterback play like Romo did. And then you go to the Manning cast that takes that to the next level and is obviously far more entertaining, and they're far cooler people than Tony Romo. And then, you know, you go $345 million to get Brady, who's, you know, got all the still, you know, a fairly entertaining guy, probably not Manning levels of entertaining, but with all the hardware and all the legacy and all the stuff, it's like, so you got to give Tony Romo the credit a little bit for kind of paving the way for like the super insider look.
Sure. And the money.
Yeah.
He paved the way for that, for now these big deals. Speaking of money, the highest paid quarterback, Deshaun Watson, is taking the Browns offense to the Bahamas this weekend.
Okay.
This is pretty funny to me. Set up all your massage jokes. The trip is for team building and football chemistry, as Watson also has secured an entire football field. So he's bringing his offense to Bahamas.
Well, if there's one piece of advice that I can give Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns players in the Bahamas, whatever you do, don't get on a boat.
Still doing it, aren't we?
If there's anything that I know about football, once you ride a boat, you will never be the same. I mean, remember the Tom Brady Super Bowl celebration? They're on boats. They're throwing the trophy around. They didn't even come close to repeating. Carson Wentz has been on 8 teams since him and his wife posed on a boat.
Why do you get so worked up about this? It's more of just like a joke, Prano. The boat meme with the Giants is a joke. It's not something serious.
The Vikings used to have boat parties. They haven't won anything. They've never won a Super Bowl.
Does the meme bother you? Do the meme tweets bother you?
No, the meme tweets don't. It was the people that took it seriously for as long as they did, and some people who still take it seriously and like reference it.
I saw your boy last night.
Who's that?
Did you see him?
Who?
You see all this Odell? Did you see all the celebrities at the Suns game?
Oh yeah. I thought you said you saw him.
Oh,
I was like, who'd you see in Cincinnati? Like, oh, I ran into Odell at the witchcraft store.
they were casting a spell to get rid of his injury.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Rams will re-sign him because he can't. Like, he's going to miss time, right?
Yeah, I would imagine. He's like a mid-year guy at best, which a lot of people will probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with the way just free agencies have gone across sports lately. If people just wait to see, how he progresses.
Yeah. I did check out another minor league game this weekend. I'm wearing the hat. I went to the Florence Yalls. That's my first independent game. It was a shit ton of fun, man.
Yeah. Independent baseball is kind of a whole other thing.
It's a whole other thing. Small stadium, seats like 4,500. There's probably 1,500 people there, but very family friendly. They have a whole bounce house, whole playground area. Dude, they let the kids in between the fourth inning run from left field across right field in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, you can't, with independent balls, you can't really sell people on, oh, you're seeing the stars of the future. So you got to sell them on baseball and all the ancillary things that you can provide.
Yeah. I think I might be doing some things with them. Maybe we'll do some dirty sports stuff with them. I chatted with one of the owners for a while, and he was breaking it down for me how it all works. And just like you said, he was very forthright. He said, I bet half the people right now in the stadium have no clue the scores. And he said,
well, listen, I'll start training again. If they want to sign me to a 1-day contract, let me come into the bullpen.
But it's crazy because they also have guys like one of the guys on their team was just in the Reds AAA. I guess he was talking about who was the Mets pitcher who got hurt. That's in independent now that they want to see. He was mentioning a Mets pitcher. I didn't know. I felt like was drafted high and then he got hurt. And a lot of times what they do is there's no spots and then they send.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're talking about the kid from Vanderbilt.
Yes.
That was, Kumar.
When was he drafted?
Last year.
And was he like a first round pick?
Yeah. I think the Mets ended up taking him like 7th overall or something like that.
He was talking about him. Yeah.
And he like his arm didn't pass the physicals essentially. So the Mets didn't sign him. So now he can't go back to college, but he can play independent ball and then possibly get drafted again this year.
That's what he was saying. It's basically a tryout. So it's interesting because you have like that type of thing where guy still might have it. And then, like you said, you got guys who just want to play.
Yeah. And you've got guys who are, a lot of teams obviously don't, but so many guys historically have gone to the big leagues and then gone to independent ball because at some point in the big leagues, like Darryl Strawberry played independent ball between stints in the big leagues because it's like you can't send Darryl Strawberry to the minors, So he's like, oh, I'm out. I'll play independent ball. Show you that. I think Canseco played minor independent ball before coming back to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Because they can pay better too.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting to see though, but fun experience to check out a game. I love their name. I think their hats. I think their logo is fresh, man.
Fresh.
I think it looks good. Okay, let's wrap it up with a couple DirtBall calls sitting there in the bank. 310-359-8365. Discussing my hat is a great segue for this first call.
Hey, Joe and Andy, it's Mickey D. I have a quick question. Another podcast I listen to that I'm not going to plug because I'm not a douchebag has a custom New Era cap that has 2 logo bears on it. So my question is, if you guys were to make a custom fitted cap for us to purchase, what would the logos be to represent yourselves? I kind of had a thought of using the Friar from the Padres logo, bashing Andy's skull in, but that might be a little much to rock around town. But let me know what you guys think. I think we could have some creative ideas, and I'm very interested to hear them. Stay dirty.
I love it. I was like, I'm not going to mention the podcast, but it has 2 bears. I'd assume it's the 2 Bears podcast. 2 bears, one cave. Anyway. I think you're right. You can't have a Friar bashing my head in, that's just a little violent, man.
No. And I didn't do the bashing, so it can't be a mustachioed man doing the bashing in. But I think a cartoon Andy could have a dent in his head.
Yeah. I don't know what it would be. What's like a dirt ball in cartoon form?
Oh, yeah.
Like a guy picking his nose or something?
Yeah, or just like a tumbleweed of dirt. But in my head, what I envisioned when I just said this a couple episodes ago was just a classic. I mean, we're dirty sports. We're DS. Just a classic interlocking, like it's almost a reverse Padres. Because Padres are SD, would be DS.
Yeah. Never thought of that.
But maybe on the back, it could be a dented human skull.
Let's just stay away from the dented human skull. Right?
Okay.
Trying to move past that a little.
Look at Andy. He's looking for a cohabitation. He's like, I'm leaving my dented skull in the past. We're on to bigger and better things. I'm gonna leave my dented skull in the basement.
I'm not leaving it in the past. Never forget. But I never really focused too much on it. But I don't want to be wearing a hat where it's like a guy beating the shit out of me. That's definitely not a good reminder for me. So you put out the call for a bet.
Oh, yeah. I've already had 1 million people in my DMs. I've capped all of the people at $50. Somebody's like, I'll pay you $1,000. I'm like, I'm not taking all these bets.
Wow. So you got Jew. He's calling back. You probably DM'd him already, but he's calling back.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
What's up, fellas? This is Jew. So I'm calling to accept the bet by Prano. I'm good for $100, something to keep us entertained. And I will say, a lot of people say you don't bet anymore because a lot of people flake out and stuff. So I will say this: I give Ruther the ability to, if I do not pay up on this bet, if I happen to lose, I give him the ability to share my cell phone number with the rest of the DirtBall so that they can find out who I am and just do what they would do. So I guarantee I would pay up on that. And just to go back, you're talking shit about it. The Yankees haven't beat anybody. The Yankees are 6-3 against your World Series pick for the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays. So they're taking care of business there. And then the Baltimore that you just bagged and bagged, but yeah, they have one less win than both Philly and Atlanta, who pretty much you guys have all been beaten. Plus, of course, the Nationals, who are dog shit that you guys keep beating. But of course, the Mets have beat they've only played the top 10 teams in baseball all year. So good luck with that, and fuck the Mets. Now I am officially a Met hater. Fuck the Mets. Later, guys.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's it. I virtually accept $100. Me and Jew, $100. Teams that goes further in the year, whether that be one team winning their division and making the playoffs, and the other team not making the playoffs, winning a series, not winning a series, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. $100 straight up. If I were you, I would definitely invest some money, maybe take 50 right now, send Garrett Cole some sticky stuff for the back of his pants that he has been, his spin rate has suddenly been back during this Yankees win streak. And he has a pretty gruesome brown mark on the back of his pants. So that's good. I would also maybe contact some of the Yankees in regards to continuing to video other team signs. You're going to need all this help because come playoff time, you're going to have to play outside of your little league stadium and you're going to need some starting pitching. But, you're good. So I accept your offer and I look forward to, I'm not really looking forward to giving your number out. I'm looking forward to collecting that money and spending them on Mets World Series tickets.
Good old-fashioned New York rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Yankees have been playing great baseball so far. I have been critical of who the Yankees have played, and that's I hear his arguments. Also, if you look at the Yankees record, I can't pull it up right now. I believe the Yankees are I've played twice as many home games as the Mets have played so far, which is wild. But listen, I'm sure they'll play well on the road where the fences are, regular human size too. He will be fine.
I feel like the hatred for the Yankees isn't as high as it once was. Probably because they haven't been as good.
My hatred for the Yankees?
No, just hatred across the board.
Oh, yeah. It's because they haven't been as good.
All right, 310-359-8365. Once again, that is our hotline. Drop us a line, call, question, you name it. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram, all at The Dirty Sports. You can find my bot at Andy Ruther on social media. And I will send you a picture of myself holding a spoon in case you want it.
I am at Joe Prano on all social media except for Twitter, where I remain at Fix Your Life. I've got shout out to folks who came out this past week to some shows. You can see over my shoulder here, I have my new Minimal bag from our friends at Minimal. Did a great show there. Right over here, I have my old Minimal bag, which my DMs are still open. If anybody wants to, I haven't figured out the process yet, but if anybody's interested in a glorious old Minimal version V1 bag, I would like to maybe auction it off and give the proceeds to charity. So slide in my DMs if that's any interest to you. And follow me at joeprano.com for upcoming shows, which many on the horizon, including when my World Series bound New York Mets come to California for their series against the San Diego Padres. I'll be down at our good friend Josh Nelson's show at Candy's Boom Boom Room the first week of June. So San Diego DirtBalls. I'll see you there.
Is that the name of the room?
Yeah, the room has changed a few times, but you remember it used to be Reds when it was downstairs?
Yeah.
It is now Candy's Boom Boom Room.
Sounds like a strip club.
It looks like a strip club.
Candy's Boom Boom Room.
But it's not a strip club.
Are the shows in the basement or are they upstairs again?
The basement.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, guys, that's our show. As always, we appreciate all the support we get. You guys have a great start to your week. And don't forget, stay dirty.